I'm going to read 2 short poems and then 1 long poem. That's it. This is called Discursive Formations. Speaking of not listening, all sophists are overpaid. Language is an invention. In fact, all things are inventions. We should thank inventors, show our gratitude in remembrance of their forgotten names. Thank you, the person who invented diction. We can't put our appreciation into words. Thank you, the person who invented hierarchies. We should have thanked you first. Thank you, the person who invented empathy. We know how you feel. People say things like, I guess that's just the way things are, and there are no instructions for how to live. But what if we've just lost our tags, once so neatly sewn to the backs of our necks? People say things like, every cloud has a silver lining, and Rome wasn't built in a day. And no, but how great it would be to wake tomorrow among all that grandeur. If nothing else, each morning there will be sunlight, or at least some light that shines for you. Trust me on this. I am an AM expert. If you cannot find the light, do not fear that you are lost. Though you may want to, you should never turn back. Eventually, the sun will rise in a new range of colors. Knowledge and language will cease to exist, and you may feel bereft. Take comfort, dear traveler. We have a word for that, a compound word. In German, its existence will not help you, but linguists insist that you will feel much better for never understanding. November 27th, 1989. My American heart, size medium, buries my father again and again in a shale-slick hilltop in coal country. It is there I let the story's end begin. Drops of rain pelt the ground like the victory march of clouds. In a mid-sized rental car, I am safe from everything but danger. Pennsylvania, a sadscape of townhomes and strip malls, trees upstaged by billboards, the pervasive thread of metaphor. I sit at City View Diner, slide quarters into a jukebox, scan for a song that sounds like your voice. I chose this place because they never close, but that doesn't mean this permanence is endless. Tomorrow, I will go to a place I call home, a place different from the place I call from and was born and has gone. Somehow, between there and now, the past will ask for all I have to offer, and offer nothing in return. So, this is the long poem, and since it's the last thing I'm going to read, thank you again, Stephen, and thank you everybody for coming out, and thank you especially the people who dressed up. I didn't because I'm lame, but you are awesome. And you look fucking cool. Thank you. So, this is called post-diction, which is essentially the opposite of prediction. 1. We're fated to speak simply if we ever want to be heard, to forget the little tricks we play in the space around words. I can't remember the important things you said, and now, of course, it's too late. But I can read the words you never said, and I can't say it's better this way, but I'm sure everything makes more sense, more or less, without you around. Am I saying too much already? Anything can be ruined through overexposure. Photographs, this story, our days bleached white by the sun. I've recorded my aspirations, somehow wrote them down in a language I'll never learn. All those people you or I thought I or you might be. Looking back now, can you still find those tragic figures hiding behind these ordinary faces? This is, for want of another word, a catalog of the people I could not be, the versions that failed, the cast-offs, the made-ups, the ones that didn't fit, that just didn't stick, the people I had to be the person I am now. 2. I'm from somewhere just outside of reasonable, a place down the road from a place you might call home. And I wonder sometimes how I used to live in this other place, how this other place used to live in me, a ghost I kept around to define being alive. I lived here, alone, until the moment I was caught in the taut skin of your hands. This is a story everyone knows. Submission to lust inserted as a footnote in my long narrative of desire. A bleak, bright something, the sun in winter, the answer to a rhetorical question. When we met, I didn't yet know this way of moving, this coarse looseness of being. Your eyes stealing light, the truth hiding behind your smile, something new making itself known. Beauty was its own reward, less a lie and more a myth I had misunderstood, less soft, more certain, less fast, more hard and slow and deliberate. Do you remember pulling down curtains, lifting your head, closing windows, opening your mouth, reaching out to grasp at that moment when you said you needed a moment? Those were the days when days never came. We lost hours, we found focus. In the darkness, we praised an exploding star whose light was still a million years away. We sought solace near the edges. On the shore of a frozen lake, hard air quieted our breath, mute among stars, dumb to night's power. We were still, and still we were nothing at all, and everything all the same. We named what we could, and called miraculous that which we could not explain. We danced to the music of the middle of the night, a synthesis of hips, an alignment of mouths, signs of want or hunger, or maybe just boredom. And what color was the veil you wore the first time I came and you let me inside? And what color is regret, that gift of fantasy wrapped in fact? Sex was a kind of humanity, an indulgence neither small nor spare, feeling the lightness of to want and the weight of to have. Serenity was a kind of trust that let you remember what was never really there, even if only for a moment. I rushed to keep up with a compulsion, the inability of stability, the monotony of monogamy. Didn't we have anything better to do? Didn't we have everything to do better? Everything looked glamorous on you, even me. Each statement sounded singular and untraceable. So many of your words, both foreign and familiar in my mouth, crowded with unknown phonemes. How you permeated, a drop of blood and water, the sound of hymns trying to drown the sound of sin. A confession. I have done nothing wrong. I have done nothing right. I have done nothing. 3. I am closing this memory for inventory. It's way past time to take stock of what you meant to me at the moment you said that letting go is a decision too important to get wrong. How long the night stays when you wanted to leave. How tall these pedestals I've built for the keeping of things that don't belong to me. My mistake was mishearing nothing as something. A clear sign is only a clear sign if you know how to read it. If you know the symbols another person draws for you when they mean to be understood. I fall asleep each night imagining the past as a movie. In the morning, I wonder where my mind has been in the hours while I slept, how it found its way home, how it moved from me to you and back again, how it traveled as parallel lines, our breathless length going on forever. When I can't sleep, I write new scenes, edit them into memories, and stitch it all into a movie I'll never need to watch. To replace what came before, the perfect, the flawed, the original. The truth is, we are, and have always been, a sequel. Ours was a story that could only ever be told in parts. And now, I'm at a word for loss, a synonym for forgetting that you don't have to like someone to love them. And what I cannot believe, I cannot write down, and it passes in the silence of blank space. 4. I come home to find what has been waiting for me, a letter sent from the past saying only, "You're looking pretty good for a ghost." Inside the house, there's a newspaper on the floor. A headline says everyone who went missing was eventually found dead. But I'm still here. So maybe everyone who went missing was eventually found living a new life somewhere else, looking ahead to the people they would become, for the people they'd just met, just learned to love, just sitting at home waiting for the future to come, for the past to recede like it always does, slowly at first, then faster. I think of how a map is always changing, though the cartographer thinks it complete. How we rename what can't be redrawn. These cities and towns and streets that lead from door to door, from one person to another. It's possible to hide some things about ourselves, but impossible to reveal everything. What I once thought of as a mystery is a depth I'm too frightened to explore. And I can't pinpoint the moment I got lost, but I know I wasn't in the last place I looked. But I looked anyway, because I can't tell that a thing is finite until I've seen its edges and what lies beyond, until I know what to call it. My very existence becoming taxonomic. The limits of my language really do mean the limits of my world. These half-seen memories light my present with all of my past, each time and place where I've made a self, then abandoned it, a star burning out in silence that was born in sound. You told me once that we cannot bear what is born broken, that our hands weren't built to hold pieces of a whole. Your voice crumbled, but your words hung hard, alone in some part of me. And face to face, I slipped out from behind that mask, worn and cracked, pigment, plaster, and stone. Thank you so much.